Now, it was big news for the Borders on the day that the Scottish Executive finally agreed to reinstate part of the Waverley line. But those campaigning for it are putting their own work in to speed the project up. A group of Waverley line supporters are going to great lengths to make sure the line extends. Well, today, one of Scotland's longest railway tunnels was reopened for the first time in years. Well, Nick Martin went with a team of surveyors as they ventured into the dark.
The Waverley line in its heyday. Double-tracked, it was purpose-built and bonded communities together. Of course, the steel was ripped up long ago, but it is on track to return. In September last year, the Scottish Parliament made the historic decision to reinstate part of the Waverley line. In this yard, a silent crusade has started. The Waverley Route Heritage Association is gradually rebuilding part of the route. The tracks are waiting to be laid. Some already have been. Now, the association has laid more than 1/4 of a mile's worth of tracks. This is just some of it here. But there's one thing now getting in its way. The Whitrope Tunnel. It's been closed for 40 years, and today it's being opened up. We travelled to the south end of it today to see just what it's like inside. I was with the team, Len Ashton, the chairman of the Waverley Route Heritage Association, and specialist surveyors.
Well, it's a historic day, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Once the gates were opened, we walked through, and as soon as we did, the temperature dropped noticeably. The roof still harbours the remains of soot from the steam trains, and the floor is as flat as it was when trains roared through. Well, this is one of the shafts where the excavators worked down to meet the miners who worked from north to south. And William Ritson was the man who made this tunnel possible. And at one point, there were 600 men on this project working in appalling conditions to make the tunnel go from one end to the other. Now the association wants to reopen the tunnel, lay tracks, and hopefully have trains running through once again.
We have the track stacked down there, you know. It'll fit through this tunnel, it'll stretch this way. We've got about near enough 2 miles of track down there. So what we would like to do is exit the other end. It'll give us a run of about around the 7 mile, which isn't bad for starters.
So what would the feeling be like, you know, on the day where there's a train actually coming through here for you?
Well, I think it would be as exciting in the day as it was for William Ritson, say, you know, put an engine in here, and it only took him 2.5 years roughly from the start to have an engine in this tunnel.
But this vision all hinges on its condition, and that's why Martin Downing has been called in to make a surveyor's assessment.
To examine the condition of the lining primarily that has been put in when the tunnel was built to provide support. You can see in places that there's areas where bricks have been used to repair the tunnel when it was operational.
And then as we walked through 3/4 of the tunnel, a sight not seen for many years. The remains of an old VW Beetle, abandoned here more than a decade ago. It hasn't moved since.
I don't think you'd get much scrap for it, put it that way. I think the best thing to do with this, drag it out and bury it, give it a grave, you know.
But the future for this tunnel is far from gloomy if Len Ashton and his association have their way. The results of this survey will be known soon, but it's funding that they need to fulfil this dream. One day, this tunnel could soon be reborn. Nick Martin for Lookaround, deep in the Whitrope Tunnel.